but it's not pulling you up. I don't want you to be pulled up.
I see what you're saying. What is that? Can we ask it? Go on mute.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, we're about ready to get started here. If I could ask everybody on Zoom to please mute themselves. Also, make sure that if you're joining via Zoom, I can see your first and last names if you want ACE credit. For those of you that are here in the room, make sure that you've signed in and gathered any materials that you need. Today we have Grant Fisher with us. Grant is a senior business administration major from Alpharetta, Georgia. And he has been using LinkedIn to expand his personal network and also get some job offers. So he is here today to share some of those tips and tricks with you. So please welcome Grant Fisher. Go ahead.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Can everybody on Zoom hear good? Are we good on Zoom?
I think so.
Good. Okay. Yeah, so only a couple people in the room, but it seems like we have some people on Zoom here. So really appreciate you guys turning up to this event and hope I can provide some insight to you. So just a light overview of what we're going to go over today. We're going to be going through a LinkedIn philosophy, building your LinkedIn, and then 5 steps to utilizing LinkedIn like an expert. So we're just going to stair step a little bit, start from the basics, and then hopefully you can leave here with 5 or 6 tricks that you can utilize to expand your network and hopefully get some job offers. So going into it, let's look at the LinkedIn philosophy. So just some quick statistics about LinkedIn that I really want to point out, just to show you guys how useful this social media site is. Right here, I want to show the more than 4 million LinkedIn members were hired through this platform alone in 2019. Those are massive numbers. I just want to point out very quickly that about a month ago, our nationwide unemployment rate was 800,000, and that was almost a record. So I just want to put that number into context for you guys so you can realize how many people were hired through this in 2019. And then the second one I want to point out here is that 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn on a regular basis. Again, these are the people that are making hiring decisions, and these are the people that we want to appeal to on LinkedIn. So the fact that 95% of recruiters are using this on a daily basis shows us that this is going to continue growing, and it's almost hit max capacity in the hiring decision maker category already. So this is just, did I skip a slide? Oh, yeah. So this is just the mentality that you want to conduct yourself with on LinkedIn. Very different than other social media sites. The thing that I really want to emphasize here is that you're branding yourself constantly on this website. So you can either be branding yourself positively or negatively. And I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks on how to brand yourself positively. But again, you want to keep in mind that whenever an employer Googles your name, this is going to be one of the first results. So we want to make sure that we are establishing this and separating ourselves from our competition in that aspect. And then maintaining a professional image on LinkedIn without masking your personality is absolutely key. Again, this is how you separate yourself from a regular user to an elite user. You want to make sure that you're not just using a bunch of big words with no substance to them, but rather focusing on the substance and trying to make it simply communicated as possible. And then just some general topics that I personally like to avoid and would suggest you avoiding. Politics, shower thoughts, controversial opinions. All these things can be put on Snapchat or whatever your risk tolerance level is. I would suggest leaving most of them off of social media. But again, what your risk tolerance level is, you can put those on other mediums, but not on LinkedIn. Again, that could potentially sway a job offer or anything like that. So you want to make yourself as marketable as possible. And then LinkedIn etiquette. This top one here is very vital to operating LinkedIn. It's the mentality of paying it forward. So anybody in your network you have to have the mentality that they're going to benefit more from connecting with you than you are with them. You never want it to be a one-sided connection. So whenever you reach out to a CEO or a founder of a company, you want to give him some context as to why you're reaching out to him, but also, you know, kind of explain what you can do to help him, or again, just give him context in what you're seeking. And then you want to focus on network growth. So interesting thing about LinkedIn is that it's not like Instagram or Facebook or any other social site where, you know, you can have an unlimited amount of followers and the numbers just keep on going up. On LinkedIn, you get to 500 connections, and then anything over 500 just shows 500 plus. So getting to 500 plus is something that everybody who has an established LinkedIn presence, you know, gets to eventually. And you want to make sure that you get there as soon as possible for two reasons. One, it instantly adds credibility to your profile. But two, we're going to talk about maintaining a high activity level later. And maintaining a high activity level is absolutely pointless if you're not growing your network while you do that. So again, you want to make sure that you are constantly trying to grow your network. And then again, I'm not even going to hit on the treat it like other socials because I already said that earlier, but just want to make sure that we are keeping that in the back of our head at all times while we're on LinkedIn, that this is a different medium than others. And then just don't let LinkedIn serve as a substitute for human interaction. So what I mean by that is, you know, in our generation, millennials, Generation Z, we have this reputation of wanting to hide behind a keyboard. So everybody can talk great behind a keyboard. Everybody can make themselves look good behind a keyboard. But you want to make sure that you are, whenever you're reaching out on LinkedIn, you're trying to drive human interaction. So whether that be a phone call, a Zoom call, or an in-person meeting, you want to be moving it off of LinkedIn as soon as possible. And then building your profile from the ground up. So this is the aspect for, you know, we might have different experience levels in here. This is for the beginners here. And even if you already have built a LinkedIn, you might still be able to take something away from this. So the profile picture is the most essential part of your profile. So personally, I don't connect with anybody or interact with anybody that doesn't have a profile picture. They seem like a fake profile to me. I'm not sure if they're real. And quite frankly, if you don't have enough effort to put a profile picture on your account, then you're probably not taking the medium serious enough anyway. So very essential that you have a profile picture. And then, so what's the difference between an average profile picture and a great profile picture? Let's take a quick look. You want to make sure that your picture is not pixelated. Anything over 400 by 400 is going to be fine on this platform. Anything underneath it is going to be rasterized, which is compressed, and it's going to make it more pixelated. So it could be the best picture in the entire world, but if it's pixelated and grainy, it's not going to be effective and it's probably going to hurt your connections. And then you want to make sure that it's tightly cropped. Your face should be the focal point, and you know, a best practice for this is normally to aim to get your face taken up around 60% of the picture, which is going to seem uncomfortable whenever you're cropping it. It's going to seem like you're cropping it too close. But I promise you, whenever you go into LinkedIn and you're scrolling through, you'll see that the vast majority of people that have their LinkedIn profiles optimized have it almost uncomfortably closely cropped in, because you're hardly ever just looking at the profile picture. It's normally taken in with the rest of the profile as a whole. So again, you want to make sure that the face is taking up roughly 60% of that picture. And let's show you some examples here. So this is an example of an effective profile picture from a CEO at a Fortune 500 company. And you can see, you can't even tell, it might be kind of rough to see for the people in here in person, but you can't even tell what she's wearing in this picture because it's so tightly cropped that you can't even see the clothes. So again, that was probably uncomfortable whenever she was cropping it. It probably felt like she was cropping it too tight, but you can see in this picture, it's actually very effective. And then this is a picture demonstrating my second point here about how different industries expect different levels of professionalism. So I was a graphic design major for 2 years, and I was optimizing my LinkedIn for graphic design for the first 2 years of my college career. I just wanted to hit on, because again, we have people going into different industries, teaching, possibly an agent. you know, you're gonna have to optimize your profile different for different industries. So again, Fortune 500 CEO, she's tightly cropped in, got an optimized background image. This guy is a graphic designer. He's got a V-neck on t-shirt and an optimized background image to go with it as well. So just wanted to hit on, it's still effective, but different industries, you can get away with a little bit more or a little bit less. This is a good example of a sales or a business profile for Jalen. You know, if you're going into a sports agency business, you want to make sure that you're maintaining a very high level of professionalism. And you can see that in this picture by black background or white background. He's got a little bit of the dressy clothes showing, a good smile on him. The studies show that smiling in your picture and showing just a little bit of dressy clothes actually increase your perceived level of influence and power by roughly 15 to 20%. Just a study that I saw, and that was very interesting to me. These are the subconscious things that happen from an optimized LinkedIn picture. And then just some quick examples about how people have been using neutral backgrounds. And, you know, this is more of a Silicon Valley type feel, but I've actually seen it a lot in the teaching industry. I think it is effective. You just need to make sure that it's blurred and, again, that your face is the focal point. And then this is the second most important section. And we're going to talk about keywording here. And this is going to be a theme throughout the rest of the presentation, as I believe it is one of the most essential things to establishing your online presence. You want to make sure that your summary and about section is thought of as an elevator pitch. So what I mean by an elevator pitch is, imagine you're in New York and you're getting on an elevator at a massive building, and there's a guy already in there. You don't know it at the time, but then you find out he is a Fortune 500 CEO. You have 30 seconds on that elevator to sell yourself as to why you would be an asset to him. Think of this section as that. Focus on who you are, what you do, but especially why you do it. So what I mean by that is, what is your purpose? If you can convey your purpose to an employer, that's going to separate you from the majority of competition, as a lot of people don't think about what their purpose or their passion is. So I would encourage everybody on Zoom and here in person to, you know, make a goal or set 30 minutes aside in the next week or continual weeks where you just start thinking about what your passion is and why do you do what you do, because you want to be able to convey that to potential employers. And then in this section, you also want to make sure that you are including your core skills. I believe that this is a good time to convey your interpersonal skills. So what I mean by that is not Microsoft PowerPoint or Excel or anything like that. For specific industries, hard skills are better. You know, computer programming, anything like that. Graphic design even. You need to have a vast knowledge for certain programs. But one thing that I personally believe is that if you're not sure what you want to do, or if it's still kind of broad, you want to make sure that you're building up your interpersonal characteristics. So for agency, or for sports agency, maybe that's leadership. In my profile, I have human interaction, communication, stuff like this. Those are transferable to all industries. And then, yeah, so this is the most read section of your account. Again, going back to that before, we have to be intentionally marketing ourselves to our target market in this section. So what I mean by our target market is the recruiters, or really anybody that you are targeting with your LinkedIn. So if you're here to leverage a job offer like I am, I'm targeting recruiters in the industry that I'm interested in going into. So again, you want to be intentional about selecting your target market and then always targeting your message towards them. In this section, good practice, be clear over cliche. There's a bunch of wording, and you know, whenever you go into LinkedIn, you see a bunch of people trying to use massive words in this section, and I personally get lost in it, and it normally leads me to you know, not reading the whole section. It's too watered down. You want to have clear points and not expound too far in this section. And then again, keywords, I'm going to show you an example as how we can use keywords in our about section. So for this one, I just Googled top keywords for the nursing industry, and immediately hospital, registered nurse, clinic, patient care, vital signs, and basic life support came up. So I used those in a sentence as I would if I was a nursing major in my about section. And this is the sentence: registered nurse with an experienced background in patient care in both clinical and outpatient settings. So again, we hit 3 keywords there in a sentence, and you're gonna have, as many sentences in your about section as you want, where you can maximize these sentences by using keywords. So this is an example of my profile. You can see how I have the profile picture tightly cropped. I could honestly even crop it a little bit tighter, but again, it was uncomfortable in the moment. I think I have actually since then gone in and tightened my crop a little bit more. But I really just wanted to point out in my about section how I used keywording. So in my about section, I said I have a passion for sales, human interaction, and leadership opportunities. So for the IT staffing world that I want to go into, sales, human interaction, and leadership were 3 of the top keywords that I felt related to me. So those are things that I convey in my day-to-day life that are also top keywords for my industry. And I put them right at the top there. As you can see, I have spacing between the paragraphs so it's easier to read. And then account management and lifelong learner later incorporated, again, 2 keywords for my industry that I wanted to incorporate in there as I felt they applied to me. And then this is the next one under about. So this is your experience and education section. This can be treated a lot like a resume. Whenever you're putting where you worked in the past and a light summary of where you were or what you did in that position. And then also your education. These are both right next to each other in tandem. You want to really only include valuable work experience in this section. So work that you would be happy to discuss with a potential employer or target towards your target market. This is stuff that you want to make sure you're including. And again, great opportunity here to use keywords, but I wanted to hit really quickly on tailoring your experience to your target market. So what I mean by this is by no means am I saying lie about what you did in a past position. I'm more so saying that you can, maybe it wasn't the most important thing you did in that position. I'll give an example here in my own profile as to I included a project that I did with a company that was a sales project and it related to my target market, but it wasn't one of the biggest projects. So again, that's tailoring my experience to my target market. And I'm going to show you how I did that in a second. And then quick tips, you want to make sure that you include all schools that you have attended and show how you challenged yourself at these schools. So the main reason I say that is because I attended 2 different high schools and 2 different colleges. So these were opportunities for me to grow my network quickly that maybe other students didn't have. But again, if you have been to multiple colleges, if you're a transfer into Culver, anything like that, you want to put all of your experience on there so that you will pop up on the suggested connections page to people at that school. And then, so this is my experience section. Let's take a look at some of the code words I used in this section. So account management and consultative selling, again, 2 code words used in the sales industry often. And then this one with the arrow right next to it is the example of how I tailored experience. So I said spearheaded a deliverable for the sales team to simplify the sales process. Again, this probably wasn't even one of the top 5 projects I did at that company, but this was something that I could convey to my target market. As this was a marketing internship, I didn't do a ton involved in the sales world. So I wanted to make sure that the few things that I did do involving sales, I incorporated into my description. And then endorsements and recommendations. So this is one of the most essential parts of your profile, especially whenever it comes to adding validity to your profile. So you never want to be afraid to ask for a recommendation on your profile. A lot of people get bashful in this aspect. They feel it's egotistical or something. One thing to keep in mind is that as college students, older people like to help us a lot. If you ask politely and in a good way and your work backs what you're asking for, then they will be happy to help you out. At least in my experience, that's been the way it has worked out for me. So don't be afraid to ask for these. People love to help you out, and this will add credibility to your profile. And then this next point goes back to the pay it forward mentality. Endorse and recommend others that impress you in some aspects. That's paying it forward. So again, if you want people to endorse and recommend you, you can't expect that if you're not doing it for others. Anytime, say Jalen went out of his way, I saw him leading some underclassmen on the court. Why wouldn't I endorse him in leadership? I don't have to pay to endorse somebody in leadership. And again, maybe that will motivate him to endorse me in something back, but even if he doesn't, you're helping another person out for free, so why not? And then choosing skills. 3 to 5 is optimal in this section. I actually scratched that. It's really 5 to 10. So why I put that originally is because your top 3 characteristics are going to be shown on your profile at all times. And then there's going to be a little expand button, and then the rest of your skills can be shown. So it's really up to you as to what skills you want to include in that expand section. But the main thing I want to hit on is that those top 3 skills that you choose are going to be shown on your profile at all times. So you want to make sure that you're intentionally choosing these, and then you're working to develop them. So you're asking people to endorse you, you're endorsing others. Whatever that may be for you, you are developing them in some way. And then a quick tip, this is something that I always do. I like to ask for recommendations or endorsements before I leave the company. It just adds a little accountability to it. I found that, in these professional environments, life can move very fast. So even once you're done there, they might quickly be moving on to the next thing that they're doing. While you're still with the company, whenever they see you walking around, they'll be like, oh yeah, I have to do that recommendation real quick. And it has worked for me in the past. So just a quick tip there. So let's look at my skills and endorsements section and take a look at the 3 skills that I specifically chose that I wanted to show on my profile at all times. So leadership, communication, and consultative selling. 2 of those 3 are interpersonal. And honestly, the third one, could technically be interpersonal, but again, that was a keyword for my target audience. So again, keeping it broad here, but also intentionally targeting it towards the staffing industry and recruiters in that industry. So just wanted to highlight the keywords. So this is what happens on my skills section whenever you hit the expand. So now you can see the other skills that I have on here. And so you can kind of tell that those were the past graphic design skills. Some might argue that they would be good for me to take those out. Personally, I feel as though they still add an aspect, show a little bit about my background. And that's something that I bring up in all interviews anyway, is my diverse background. So I have chosen to keep these in there. And then this is actually the screenshot of me texting my former boss and asking for a recommendation. I just wanted to give you guys a tangible example of how I do this and kind of show you how they're normally very excited to help you out. So I just said, hey, Angie, I'm in the process of trying to transition my LinkedIn profile from graphic design to more sales and recruiting, and all of my recommendations are for graphic design. It would mean the world to me if you could leave a recommendation on my profile for my work this summer when you get the chance. And then I actually specifically asked her if she could endorse my consultative selling as well, because I still had graphic design skills in my top 3. So again, you can see how she responds in all caps, OMG, of course. She's very excited to help me out. Again, this is something that costs her no money and is priceless to me. So a lot of people will be happy to help you if you convey how valuable it is to you. And then, so that's building our LinkedIn. Let's go to the next step. So now your LinkedIn is built. How do I separate myself from the millions of other users on LinkedIn? Let's take a look. So 5 tips for using LinkedIn like an expert. The first is a network growth tip called the 24-hour rule. This rule changed my life, and it changes your mentality as well whenever you go into a professional environment. So instantly, whenever you go into a professional environment, reach out to anybody that you meet in that environment within 24 hours. So whether that's taking notes of it, if you have good memory, just try to, personally myself, I normally do it I have a horrible memory. So I'll reach out to them as soon as I have the opportunity to. I will reach out to them on LinkedIn and normally include a little personalized invitation with that, just saying, I met you about 30 minutes ago at so-and-so event. Would love to stay in contact further. Grant Fisher. It doesn't have to be hard. We'll go a little bit deeper into that later. But again, you want to be reaching out immediately to these people after you meet them so you're still fresh on their mind. Connect with a purpose. And then, like I said, the personal message, and make that message brief and clear so that they will read it. Okay, so here's some examples for all the people here in person. I gave you my actual personal templates. So these are on your paper. You can utilize these at all times. These are the ones that I use personally. Anybody on the Zoom, just feel free to shoot me or Robin an email, and we will get those materials to you as well. So an example of connecting with somebody that you physically met, this is a good thing to attach just whenever you send that connection. Mike, good morning. We met yesterday at the Culver-Stockton Career Fair. I wanted to connect with you as I hope to stay in contact in the future. All the best, Grant Fisher. Very simple. Sparks his memory as to where you met and gives context as to why you want to connect in the future. Connecting with somebody you didn't physically meet. So say you're at a business conference or anything like that. You're at a career fair and you hear somebody speak. This is a good message to send somebody that you didn't go up and shake their hand or even physically interact with them, but you heard about them, you know of them in some way. Mike, good morning. Yesterday, I watched your presentation at the Culver-Stockton Career Fair and was extremely impressed. I plan to follow your work and hope we can connect further in person or over the phone soon. Again, giving context as to why you want to connect, sparking his memory, not even really sparking his memory, but telling him how you found him. And again, trying to move that conversation off of LinkedIn as soon as possible. And then this is going to take me into the main part of this presentation, which is, how do I online applications? I'm not going to get too deep into it right now, but I want everybody to know that LinkedIn has extensive search features for you to help you find people of any connection to you. So what I mean by that is you can filter people by current company, location, industry, past company, school they went to, connections of a certain person. So anybody that you might know of or want to reach out to, you can very strategically target this filter, and then it's going to pull a list of people for you. And then on the next slide, we're going to talk about how you reach out to those people and begin the interview process with those people without ever, filling out a job application online through the website or Indeed or any of those sites. So right here, I'm checking. Can you guys see that? No. I'll explain what it is. So we checked the marketing and advertising button underneath industry. So what's that instantly is doing is it's only going to pull people in the marketing and advertising industry. And then we also checked Culver-Stockton College. So it's only going to pull people that graduated from Culver-Stockton or went to Culver-Stockton and have marketing and advertising on their profile. So then it pulls a list of 34 people. So if you're looking to go into marketing and advertising after college, this is a great list, especially as a Culver student. This is a great list of people to reach out to because you have a shared connection in Culver and they're in the industry that you want to go to. So instantly what I would do, actually, I'm going to show that in the next slide. I want to show you how I pull my list. So this is and incorporate the search filter into that. So you can see I put corporate recruiter in the search bar at the top. So that is the name of the hiring decision maker and the industry that I want to go into. So I just simply Googled name of hiring decision maker in staffing industry. And corporate recruiter was the most popular one. So I started testing it out. I looked up corporate recruiter in the greater Atlanta area in the staffing and recruiting industry. So this is going to pull anybody that is in the staffing and recruiting industry in the greater Atlanta area and has corporate recruiter in their profile. So instantly I have a list of 1,400 people pulled up. And what I view that as is 1,400 possible connections that could lead to a job offer. So what I would do with that is I would utilize personal messaging. So whenever you pull those lists, you don't just want to look at them, right? You need to reach out to these people. I want to hit on, it's a little bit funny. It goes down in the DM. The main thing that I want to convey with this message is that whenever you're entering a new social media sphere, you're never sure what the proper etiquette is, whether it's similar to sliding in DMs on Instagram or on Snapchat. It's very different than that. LinkedIn DMs are where business goes down. So business is conducted in these DMs. You're very highly likely to get a response whenever you reach out to somebody if you include that message and follow these tips. So you want to make sure that you format your initial messages similar to an email, and then you match the person that you're reaching out to's formality from there. So what I mean by that is everybody knows how to format an email, right? Hi, so-and-so, comma, space down, body message, and then you leave your little greeting at the end. That's how you want to format these InMail messages, InMail is the name for LinkedIn DMs. And then whenever they respond to you, you can match formality from there. So what I mean by that is you don't always have to be putting the greetings and the sign off in this. If they respond to you in a text-like format, then you can respond matching their formality from there. And then respond to messages that interest you and look reputable. This isn't a massive one because I'm not gonna lie to you, there have been multiple times where I thought that something wasn't reliable, but I just figured, why not give them a response? What can I lose, right? And it turned out that they were reputable. So I'm not gonna hit on that very much. I would almost say, lean on the side of over responding than under responding. You're gonna find some opportunities on LinkedIn, and you wanna make sure that you're maximizing them. And then you wanna make sure that, again, we're moving this conversation off of LinkedIn as soon as possible. So whether that be, in this COVID environment, a Zoom call or a phone call, both are great. I love meetings with somebody in person. Obviously that might not be an option in today's environment, but I believe that Zoom still carries a lot of those characteristics to it. And again, this can be an opportunity to make yourself memorable to that person, not just a text message conversation. You can actually stick in their mind and make yourself memorable. So just want to show you some of the DM conversations that I had to give you guys kind of an understanding of how these LinkedIn DMs work and how optimizing your profile. If you see in these two examples on the left, they actually reached out to me first. So this is a great thing on LinkedIn. Like I said earlier, 95% of recruiters use this site, and they're not just twiddling their thumbs on the site. They're trying to find potential employees. So you can see how optimizing your profile can directly lead to job opportunities. In this first one, a guy reaches out to me from Titan International, which is one of the biggest companies in Quincy. He's a marketing professional there. He says, "Hey, realized you have some graphic design experience. Are you looking for any kind of internship? We are always looking for potential graphic design experience." So again, this is a guy reaching out and offering me an internship. Obviously, it's not official, but it's a great start. It's a great lead with no prior message. This is a great opportunity for us, and that would have been awesome. Unfortunately, COVID got in the way of that. The second one here in the middle, I wanted to point out, this is an alumni of Culver Stockton reaching out to me. Again, you need to include all organizations, clubs, anything that you have participated in, because you never know when something like this could happen. He simply probably saw shared connections or saw that I was interested in the IT industry, whatever it might be. He decided to reach out to me. "Hey, Grant, any career plans after graduation?" We talked back and forth. He tells me a little bit about what he does, and then he proceeds to tell me that him and another Culver alum work there. Continuing talks with this individual, very excited about this opportunity, but again, just wanted to show you guys that optimizing your profile can directly lead to job offers. And then in this last one, pretty similar stuff. Again, just wanted to point out with this one that she actually reached out to me, and in my response with an automated message, and it looked a little questionable. In my response, I even clarified that. I said, "Claire, I realize this is an automated message, but in these crazy times, I will follow any leads I can find. Would love to hear further about this opportunity." She actually responded to me and told me that she hand selected me. It was a automated message, but she chose me for that message, and we continued to talk. And I'm going through the interview process with them right now. So again, all of this started from an automated message that I thought, wasn't reputable. And now I'm proceeding through the interview process with them. So again, so many opportunities on this site, way more than any other social media I've seen. Again, if you're Instagram famous, then maybe you might be getting stuff like this, but I don't think we're all Instagram famous. And then this is an example of a questionable message I received. Again, don't want to hit on it too much. Just wanted to show you guys how a lot of people just nuke out nuke out messages on this site as recruiters. So you need to be thoroughly combing through these messages and seeing if it's an opportunity you're interested in. As soon as she brought up brand ambassador, I wasn't interested. Anybody with an Instagram probably has heard of this. You know, it's essentially you promote their product and get a discount off on their product. Not something I'm using LinkedIn for. And so I chose not to respond to her. And then put that application in the microwave. So everybody's probably wondering what that means. Again, that is combining the past two steps and using that to never, or I'm not going to say never, but to avoid online job applications and the applicant tracking system, which I'm going to show you some statistics about right now. Quick story before we go any deeper. At the beginning of quarantine, I had recently quit basketball, so I had all this free time that I didn't know what to do. So I set a goal for myself. I said I'm going to apply to 10 jobs every weekday for 4 weeks, which is a total of 200 job applications. And I was like, there's no way that if I send out 200 personalized job applications, I won't get, you know, some good interest going. Long story short, I got 2 callbacks from all of that. One of them did turn into a job offer and the other didn't. But that is a 1% chance. Yeah, so that's a 1% response rate. Personally, that is not something I can do. I value my time way higher than that. So all of the time that I put in sending out those job applications essentially was wasted, in my opinion. And I told myself there has to be a better way. What is that better way? And that is LinkedIn. So using those targeted search filters that we talked about earlier, plus those personal messages that we just talked about in the last slide, equals a warmer job application. So when applying for most entry-level roles, most people just go to a company's website, see what they have available, see if they have anything posted, maybe apply for an open position and wait for a call back. That's what I did. That's kind of the procedure today with online applications. So let's talk about online applications. 75% of resumes are rejected before even reaching a person. So that is the hiring manager. The applicant tracking system, that is the ATS here. And what that is on these massive job sites like Indeed, Monster, other ones like that. Whenever you send your resume in there, it instantly puts it through an AI program, which reads your resume and pulls the resumes that have the most words that employer chose. So the employer will specifically choose words that they're looking for, and the applicant tracking system will go through and show them the applications that have the most keywords on them. Again, 75% are rejected before even reaching a human. Those numbers are not okay with me. I want at least a human to review my thing and tell me that I'm not qualified. I don't want a, applicant tracking system telling me that. Not even gonna hit on these other ones. I think I've driven the point home that these are low potential ways of leveraging a job offer. So how do I get around the applicant tracking system? Find a company that you would like to work for. Whatever that company may be, look for company values, look on the company website, look on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a website for current employees to leave anonymous reviews on their experience at the job they're at. It's a great way to find out what the culture is like inside a company, the true culture, because they don't have to lie as they are under an anonymous profile. And then again, going back to tip number 2, use search filters on LinkedIn to find somebody that's currently in your role and their manager. So I'm going to tailor this a little bit. Again, it's hard because we're talking about very vast industries here. For my industry, it was easy to look up what the hiring decision maker was, corporate recruiter, what I used in the search filters. And again, if you can find the hiring decision maker in your industry, you want to be targeting that person, not the person that's currently in your role. As the person that's currently in your role isn't getting paid to bring people onto the company. You see, there's a less chance that they'll respond to you and be motivated to help you. Not saying it won't happen, but a person that's getting paid to do that is much more likely to respond. And then connect with them on LinkedIn, and in the connection invitation, include a personal message. So again, this is on the template page that I gave you guys. Perfectly fine if you copy it, word for word, or put your own thing in there. Just wanted to give you guys an idea, kind of get rid of that writing block. This is actually the exact thing that I've used in the past, and I'm going to show you an example of me using it. Hi, blank. I'm very interested in the blank role. You have 15 minutes in the next week or so to chat about what the role entails and what your ideal employee looks like. Thanks, blank. More times than not, I've seen them get back to me with this. I would say the percentages are staggering, honestly. I would say they're higher than 75% of the time. Whenever I reach out to somebody with this message, they are responding. So again, these are high quality things. I'm not saying they always turn into job offers, but once you reach out to them, it's on you to convert that. If they respond to you, this is just an opportunity for you to get around that applicant tracking system. This is going to give you a better idea of the day-to-day operations in this role, as well as how to apply for the job. And then really the most important part of all of this is it's going to get you a personal referral to the hiring decision maker. So what I mean by that is that how I've seen this work out for me in the past is the person that I will reach out to on LinkedIn, I'll typically, if it goes well, have a 15 to 20 minute conversation with them on the phone in the coming days. And then I will send my resume to them, and they will actually send my resume to the hiring decision maker, which, as I hit on earlier, instantly puts us past those earlier 75% of resumes that never even made it to her. So by using LinkedIn, we are working our way around the tracking system and getting it sent directly to a hiring decision maker. So this is an, again, example of the list that I pull personally. I'm gonna walk you guys step by step onto how I actually did this step by step for this presentation. So this is the list that I pulled. Again, corporate recruiter, greater Atlanta area, staffing and recruiting. I have 1,400 results. So instantly the second one down popped out to me. I recognized the company she works for. She has a great profile picture, very professional profile. So I reached out to her by hitting the connect button. Then you see it will pull up her page, and right next to the connect button, directly to the right of it, there's a little lock thing and it says message. Once you click that message, you can send these messages without the paid membership. I've never paid a dime to LinkedIn. I want to make sure that I do emphasize that. You don't need the paid membership. If it tries to tell you you need the paid membership whenever you hit message, just go to the right and it will have a button that says personalized connection and use that. You'll have less words to use, but you can send a personalized message. And the first template on that template sheet that I gave you does fit in there. So again, this is a direct example of how I use this. Hi, Veronica, I'm graduating, yada, yada, everybody can read it. It's the exact template that I used earlier. She responded to me within a minute on a Sunday night. Hi, Grant, thank you so much. She essentially goes on to tell me that she got let go from her company due to COVID, but she is still looking to be a corporate recruiter in the staffing industry. So again, this probably took no more than 5 minutes max of my time on a Sunday night, and I have a connection now with a hiring decision maker in my industry that I'm going to look to leverage in the future. Again, not many different websites can you have that opportunity on besides LinkedIn. And then lastly, this is really what separates, as far as people reaching out to you, those were the tactics on how to reach out to other people. Now, how do people reach out to you? You have to maintain a high activity level. You have to be intentional with this site, as I continue to say. Maintaining a high activity level is going to use the algorithm to your advantage. So all social media sites have an algorithm as to how they prioritize posts on your timeline or whatever the home page is. And with the LinkedIn algorithm, consistency of posting and interaction per post are the two key things that you need to be striving for. These are the things that are going to make your post show up on more people's pages. And then you need to view LinkedIn as an investment. When your posts are getting views, so are you. So I'm going to show some examples of how this has happened for me in the past. But again, I'm using LinkedIn to show up on searches for people making the hiring decisions in the industry that I want to go into. So if you tell me that consistency of posting is going to make me show up in more searches, then we need to consistently post, right? And using SMART goals to hold yourself accountable. So this is all tying together on how I do this personally. My goal is I will write 1 post per week until I have secured a job. So that was my goal that I set at the beginning of quarantine. I haven't stuck to it all the way, but again, if I miss a week, you better believe I'm not missing another week after that. So this is how I have used SMART goals to hold me accountable to post consistently. And then as far as interaction per post, you really don't have any control over that in a sense. What I want to hit on with this is you can read, you need to study your interactions per post, and that's going to give you information on how well you're targeting posts to your target market. I'll show you kind of how LinkedIn has these different statistics and insights that you can use to show how well you are targeting. So again, in this message, these are screenshots from my profile. Whenever I was using this method, you can see in this first one, I popped up in 37 searches in that week, and it shows me what industry I was most commonly popping up in, and then what the name of the people that were searching for me, what they do. So we see that student was the top percentage of people that were searching for me. Founder, and then actually recruiter were down there as well. So student, I was targeting students with a couple of my messages leading up to this as it was for Culver students. So I'm accepting that. But again, if this was a post towards corporate recruiters, I would want the #1 thing there to be corporate recruiter. Otherwise, it wasn't well targeted. And then here in the middle, I think this is the most important thing. This is your per post insights. So after you post something, you can go in and look at where the people that viewed your post work at, what they have in their title, so what they do, and then where they are. So what I do here, I study my insights to see the people that viewed my post. Am I targeting recruiters, people in the recruiting industry? For the other post students, for you, it might be fellow educators, something like that. These are all things that you want to be keeping in the back of your mind as everything we do on LinkedIn has to be intentional. And then again, if you have a very specific area that you want to work, say I'm dead set on working in the Phoenix area after college, then I can use this and see if I'm targeting the Phoenix area properly. I can see what area the people that are viewing my posts live in. And that's valuable information. The compare and contrast here is my top post did very well. It got almost 1,200 views. And it was very well targeted as recruiter and student were the top 2 people that were viewing it. And a recruiting consulting firm was the top place that people viewed it. As opposed to the bottom one, got much less interactions, and the cause of that led to less people seeing it. So again, your targeted posts are going to be seen by more people, and this in turn is going to make your profile more viewed. So quickly, this right graph kind of looks like a stock chart, right? This is showing how many people view my profile. Not sure if it's a daily basis. The timetable down here is actually every 2 weeks. So you can see I have spikes and I have lows. So what that tells me is that I'm inconsistent. Again, this is an old one. I have learned from this, but during that dip, I need to be studying what was I not doing at this point and why was it affecting me like this? And then on that shoot up where I was reaching almost 20 profiles a day, what was I doing during that time that was making me appear on so many searches so that I can replicate that again. Yeah, so that's really about it. We went through the philosophy, we went through building it from the ground up. I gave you guys some templates, and then we talked about separating ourselves on this platform. From now, we have 5 minutes?
We have a couple minutes, yep.
5 minutes? Do we have any questions? Can you watch?
I can, if anybody wants to pop a question in the chat, I will relay that to Grant.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah. For this presentation? Okay, so you just need ACE credit? Gotcha.
Okay, there's a sign-in sheet on the back. Make sure that you sign that on the back table.
We'll make sure you get that.
Question I did have was, like you said, the meeting area.
Yeah.
Place, like when you're looking for the actual spot you're trying to market yourself at. So say if someone was looking to market somewhere like in Chicago or somewhere in LA.
Yeah.
How long would you think it would take for someone to live in Chicago to try to market yourself in LA to actually try to get a video chat or phone call? How long do you think that would?
It's crazy. It's honestly mind blowing.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Absolutely. So the question was, how long do you think it will take to see results if you're targeting a certain area? Malik asked, if you're in Chicago and you're targeting LA, how long will it take before you can have a video call or possibly see some opportunities in that area if you are targeting a specific area? And really, I want to hit on that it's going to happen quicker than you think if you follow these tips and tricks. I mean, it's consistently blowing my mind how much LinkedIn is exposing me to opportunities on a daily basis. I'm probably getting 2 to 3 messages on a daily basis right now from recruiters, just reaching out, trying to get me in for an interview or something like that. Again, this is mind-blowing to me, as I wasn't really, not a lot of people talk about this, right? Like, not a lot of people realize this opportunity is in front of us. And to address your question specifically, you follow these tips and tricks, you get it going on the phone. It can, like I said, it can happen way quicker than you expect. I mean, it's situational. Do we have any questions on Zoom?
No, nothing's coming through on chat.
Awesome. Everybody good? You got
Last
nothing?
chance.
I don't need it. I don't need it. Well, I really appreciate everybody coming today. Robin?
Yes, thank you, Grant, so much for offering to share your insights with us, and we wish you the best of luck in your job search. Sounds like you don't need any luck. You've got plenty of skill to go with that. So,
Thank
you know, it'd be really great if everybody that attended the event today, either on Zoom or here in person, would go on Grant's account and endorse him for public speaking or leadership or any of the other skills that he has listed on there. So
That'd be
again,
awesome.
thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
All right. Thanks again for coming, guys. And again, reach out to me through email if you want me to send you my personal DM templates and a 10-item list about common mistakes from college seniors and how to avoid them. See you guys.